Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me in this awesome Genshin Impact interview. Today's special guest is none other than the voice of Xiao himself, Laila Berzins. How have you been?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing very good, actually. Very excited for this interview just because it's been in the works for quite a while now. All that aside, let's talk about how you began your voiceover career and what was the very first character you voiced.
It all began in 2008. I was a young whippersnapper. I went to the University of Connecticut. I studied communications. I did a lot of theater, grew up doing theater. I was like a theater nerd, but I didn't really know that I could study voiceover until 2 years after graduating college. A friend of my mom's who worked in radio told her about classes in New York that I could start taking. And I was like, oh, that changes everything. So pretty much in December of 2008, I started my VO journey. Just started heading into New York on the weekends and taking classes, learning how to start a small business from scratch, learning all the different genres. Obviously, my passion has always been in cartoons and games, but the regular bread and butter stuff is commercials and narration. So getting familiar with all the different genres. And then eventually I got a mentor, Roy Yokelson of Antland Productions, who became my first main demo producer. And Roy's worked in the business for over 30 plus years as an audio producer, engineer. And he sent, after we did my animation demo, he sent it over to one of his old friends from Disney, who sent it to another person at Disney who said, can she come out here for a general audition? For those who don't know, a general audition is when you go into a studio. They used to do this a lot more back in the day, and they just give you a bunch of scripts and they kind of just throw a bunch of things at you and see what you can do on the spot and create kind of a makeshift demo from that, in addition to what they already have on file. So they can be like, here's what you can do on the spot, blah, blah, blah. When I knew I was going to be out there, I scheduled a general at Nickelodeon, as well as because I had the one at Disney. I was like, Disney, Nickelodeon. I scheduled lunch meetings with voice actors that I looked up to. Joined a Women in Animation networking event. Just basically whatever I could do during that week, I did it because I knew it was like a big week for me. The general audition went really well, and the person who was running it was had connections over at Atlas Talent. She asked me what my goal was, and I said, well, my goal is to get a pinky toe in the door and be able to move out here. She sent my stuff over to Atlas Talent, and that was Monday of that week. By Wednesday, they were like, we can start you on a trial. No promises, but we can get you some opportunities. So I was like, okay, give me a month. And I'm literally left my home in Connecticut, everything that the safety net. And, but luckily that 1 week when I was out there, I had made a lot of connections and ended up meeting somebody who helped me find my first home with a bunch of other creatives. So it all kind of was very serendipitous. And that's kind of how I started, my LA journey, from Connecticut to LA, and I've been out here almost 10 years. But yeah, it was, and then when I moved out here, it was like Uber and Lyft driving and pet sitting and scrambling. It took a long time before I got established, but I just kept following my dream. I want to say one of my first characters was Malu from the Bayou. I was a cricket that taught people about the environment, and I rapped about it too, and it was really cute. So yeah, that's kind of that's my story in a nutshell.
Genshin Impact aside, where else can we hear your voice?
Sophia Falcone from Batman The Long Halloween Part 2, Gondel the Valkyrie in God of War 4, Demeter and Persephone's in Hades, Ken Oyanagi in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, otherwise known as Roshamboy, Rei Batsubami in Kakaguri, Misuzu in River City Girls. More famous ones are Thor in Fire Emblem Heroes, Fanatio in Sword Art Online, and then Miluki in Hunter x Hunter. There's a lot of things, a lot of stuffs and things. Every day I'm someone new.
Before we move on, let me first congratulate you on getting a big role in a big game. And of course, I'm talking about Xiao in Genshin Impact. With all that being said, Can you tell us your journey on how you became the voice of Xiao, and what type of direction did Chris Fiala, the voice director for the game series, gave you in order for your voice to fit the character?
I got the audition. I came in person and met with Chris, and I'd worked on a few other games with him. And he basically just said, we've got this angsty emo teenager who's really thousands of years old, has mixed feelings about humans. I thought of you for this, and I listened to the Japanese reference, and obviously being a woman, I can't sound like, the Japanese reference. So the best thing I can do to disguise my womanly voice is to make you spit out your drink, is to add some rasp. So I just kind of started talking like that, and listening, playback, and I did a couple lines, and then I found out I booked it, and I didn't know until later that I was like the only person that Chris had auditioned for Xiao. Like, he already was like, "You're the one I have in mind for this. We just need to get other people on board," and it worked out. It was it's a good thing I have the rasp.
Yeah, you always made me spill my drink there, my coffee.
No, well, I get that a lot. I have kind of a husky, somewhat androgynous voice, so I think it works well for. I do a lot of those kinds of characters, or gender bending characters, as it were, and then also boy voices. So I love that opportunity to kind of break the mold.
I totally quote you on that description of Xiao, angsty emo child teenager.
Yep. Angsty and emo. It was always about the emo, and I was like, how emo do we want it here? I think we found it. I think as he evolved, he wasn't quite as aloof and abrupt as he was in the beginning of the character development. These lines are hysterical. Like, he doesn't understand mortals, and he's just like, he doesn't understand sandwiches. He doesn't understand, life. He just so. No, it's so fun to be a part of the Genshin community.
What do you think? What kind of emo level is Xiao today? I mean, is he Fall Out Boy emo, Panic at the Disco emo, Arctic Monkeys emo? What kind of level emo?
Emo, 50% angst, and then but then you have to also take into account the aloof longing. He's like, I hate people, I love people, I hate people. It's like a cat that you pet. And then a second later, he's like, "Get out of my way! Go away! That's enough." That's kind of how I view Xiao in a nutshell.
That's a very accurate description of Xiao.
It's like, I'm so lonely. Get away!
Kind of actually describes me in a nutshell too.
A very introverted introvert with slight moments of extroversion, just the tiniest bit of emotion. Whatever it is. This pleases me.
With all that being said, did you have any unique or memorable moments you had while recording your lines for this game?
Well, I just remember laughing at a lot of his lines, like, once the snow is thick enough, we can eat it. And then wait, you expect me to place meat wrapping? What was it? Slices of meat and wrappings myself, and then eat them together? Humans these days do not know what they are doing. It was something like that. I was like, he's talking about sandwiches and like lightning, and this is really funny. Like, I just love that. There were no like specific bloopers, but just like a lot of joking around in between takes. I tend to just make songs up about everything. A lot of the times it would be about sandwiches, because we don't take ourselves too seriously over here.
In your opinion, what makes Xiao stand out from your other roles?
I think what is different about Xiao from a lot of the other roles is that, he's in a lot of pain, like all the time. All the other demon fighting yakshas are gone. He's like this lone wolf trying to continue to protect the other people from demons while he's fighting his own demons. That's pretty deep, man. He's got the demons, but no, I think he's a more complex character emotionally than a lot of other characters I've played, and the emo.
Do you think that's the reason why a lot of fans are attracted to your character?
I mean, I think, well, what I've heard from a lot of fans is that he's also become a comfort character for them, especially for those suffering from anxiety and depression. And I totally understand why, because it's kind of like he's going through all this. He's showing both the darkness and the light. You know, he's showing the part of ourselves that pushes people away and the vulnerable side that wants that help. But how do we express it? So, I mean, and what teenager hasn't gone through that feeling, you know, right? So I think, and just the fact that he's fighting demons, like we're all literally fighting our own demons all the time. So, and then I think also for the Xiao simps, I'm not going to lie, there's a side of him that's kind of a bad boy. You know, he's like the mysterious bad boy that you want to get to know, but you just don't know enough about him. So it's like the fact that he kind of pushes you away, or he's not around very often, makes you want to know him more. Oh, just pushing me away. What makes me want to get closer? It's just not working. You can't, you know, you can't fight on love. So that's what I think. But I am was very moved and grateful to find out that there's a lot of people that have been struggling with, you know, serious mental health issues, and that Xiao has become like a real comfort for them.
Ooh, that's deep. I can actually feel that. All the feels.
All the feels?
Well, you're right. Yeah, he is fighting his inner demons, and at the same time, he's fighting literal demons because he has that contract to protect the land and whatnot. But yeah.
Yeah, he's a sympathetic character, you know?
Have you played the game?
Yes, I still have a ways to go, but I play whenever I possibly can. The landscape is absolutely stunning. It reminds me, I actually spent some time in China singing with my chorus several years ago at the Pre-Olympic Cultural Festival in Beijing, and we went to Qingdao and Xi'an, and some of the parts of Genshin Impact, some of the areas remind me of being in China. So it's like, and it's just absolutely gorgeous to be in, and there's all these new characters and the storyline. I mean, you can never get sick of it. So yeah, no, I play it whenever I can. In fact, it's the only game I play right now because everything else just, I don't care. I have to keep getting higher up in the game, you know. And yes, I am a Xiao main. I'm a Xiao main, and sometimes I eat Xiao main. That's right. You gotta say it. Yeah. And it was really weird in the beginning playing as myself and hearing myself get mad at myself and be like, worthless. And I was like, come on, I'm doing my best. Useless. And then when he does those memories, so dark, I was like, my God, that throws me out of a second because it was so much more intense than I anticipated. So I've got, my main team is Xiao, Diluc. I switch between Barbara and Diona. Yeah, but I always have Xiao and Diluc as my main, you know, because they do the most damage.
So I'm curious, how's the fandom treating you?
I love it. I love the Genshin fans. It's like a whole other world. You know, I'll make a video and somebody on TikTok and somebody will animate it, or I'll lip sync something and or they'll lip sync something and cosplay as Xiao, or they'll or people will tag me in fan art and videos. Like it's absolutely crazy. It's like nothing I've ever experienced before. It's like a family. It's like a really extended family.
So what did you like best working on Genshin Impact?
Well, I think it's really, it's three things, if I may. First is that there's always new characters, so it never gets boring. Second is the landscape is absolutely stunning. And like I said, reminds me of my time in China, and it's also like just peaceful and beautiful. And then the stories are constantly evolving, and there's all these different new fun quests and games and special events. It's one of the most immersive games I've ever played, and one of the most beautiful. So that's why I and so many others, I think, are addicted to it.
So did you ever expect this game to become this worldwide phenomenon, and where a lot of people worldwide were playing the game?
Like I've been voicing video games for many years, and it was like any other thing. Go in, you do your session, you leave. I had no idea, and it wasn't. I didn't even really. I didn't even realize the scope of it until like I started seeing, all the buzz online and everything like that. It was just, yeah, no, I was completely floored.
So what's a fun fact that you and your character share that you like fans to know about?
Well, both Xiao and I hate cooking. When Xiao says that cooking is tedious and the wait is long.
I have no interest in mortal food. Cooking is tedious and the wait is long. The one thing I can manage to stomach is almond tofu.
That's exactly how I feel. Like I would rather do anything than cook. So I'm very simple and lazy with my food choices. That's something I have in common with him. Other than, of course, like everybody else, fighting my own inner demons. I've struggled with anxiety and depression for many years, and feel like mindfulness meditation and positive affirmations and other things like that has really kind of helped change my mind. But I definitely can relate to having those like inner demons and struggling with things for many years and keeping some of it hidden. You know what I mean? Getting deep again.
There's a particular special food item that can only be attained with Xiao called Sweet Dream. What would your personal special food item be, and what effect would it have?
I am a huge salmon lover, salmon sushi in particular. So I can't think of a more fun name. All I can think of right now is like Salmon Delight. But it would be like a series of amazing salmon avocado or salmon and cream cheese, like sushi rolls. And the effect would be joy and protein. I have joy, but also protein to get me through my day. It's protein on the go. It's go-teen.
I cannot right now.
It's pretty lame, but you know, it's a little better than when I wrote it's a fun fact. I wrote a comic strip when I was little called The Adventures of Super Lila, and Super Lila saves the day from the evil Ben Franklin who's robbing a bank, not by using her superpowers, but by calling the police. To this day, my dad jokes with me. He's like, "Did the evil Ben Franklin try to steal your money?" Yes, that's right. But with Salmon Delight, yeah, I could fight him off.
Are we ever going to see that comic published? I would love to read it.
I don't know. We just drew it with crayons. But if there was an animator that wanted to work with me, I would totally collaborate. It would be like, from the mind of a 7-year-old, here's what I did. Let's make it fun, you know. And it would be fun because then we could just like voice all the bad guys however we wanted, you know. It would be an interesting series.
The fandom will oblige.
The fandom will oblige.
So moving away from your voiceover work, what is something you enjoy doing in your spare time? Any hobbies?
I love going to comedy shows, theater and musical theater, total theater nerd, singing, like hiking, movies. There's a lot of immersive art exhibits that I like going to. Anything artsy fartsy. I do Pilates. Yeah, traveling. Love to travel when I can. Yeah, and family time. Go see the family.
So are there any current projects you like to talk about or anything that has been recently announced?
I voiced Sheena in the anime Ranking of Kings, which recently came out. I'm Mitsuko in the anime movie Sing a Bit of Harmony. It's which was released in theaters, like a limited release. I'm currently recording a bunch of characters in Orient, which is also another anime that's been released, like Machiko, students, old ladies, teachers. There's a new video game I'm in where I voiced Runa, the goddess of time. It's called Fallen Tear, and that's in production. And then recently I got to voice a couple characters in Star Trek Prodigy on Nickelodeon. The episode was Moral Star Part 2, and I was an ankle restraint, minor 1, and some minors. That's right. can't ask for a better ankle restraint. And then, yeah, there's lots of other stuff, but it's all under NDA. So I'll announce it as it comes in. Yeah.
So a lot of fans watching this interview right now are aspiring voice actors. What tips, what voiceover advice would you give them?
Well, the first thing is don't ever make your own demo, no matter how much you're tempted to do so because you can save money. This is a business, and whatever you put forward is your calling card. So you want to make sure you have enough training behind you before you ever put anything out into the atmosphere, because it's basically your demo is like the commercial for you. So you don't want to put out anything that's amateur. You want to make sure that you can replicate anything on your demo, immediately in session. That doesn't take a lot of work. Also, if this is something that you truly want to pursue, don't give up. Especially when it gets hard, because you're going to face a lot of rejection. It wasn't. I've been doing this almost 13 years. And it wasn't until the 9th year in my career that I started getting the big bookings, the Disney, Nickelodeon, Blizzard, all those things. Another thing that I've touched on a little bit is mental health. Like, make sure that you really take care of your mental health on a day-to-day basis, especially as an actor, creative. Have your goals for the year, for the quarter, for the week written out so that you can see them and focus on them. I have like a list of like my goals for the year, specific clients I want to work with, income goals, people that I want to work with, and then other things like I'm looking up at them now, self-love, joy, travel, peace, things that just having those things to remind you each day and keep you centered. Another thing is voiceover is not just the acting component. You want to be excellent at improv. You want to take improv classes if you can, and you're masochistic enough, take a stand-up class or do some stand-up. Take an on-camera class. Become the best possible actor you can be, and get familiar with the different genres, because when you're behind a microphone, your authenticity will show through. You can't hide anything. It's so different from on camera in the sense that you have to convey so much more in this totally different space, and people can't see you. So becoming the best actor you can be, and work with a lot of different coaches. Get as much training as you can. Never stop training. Never stop your education, because we're 80% of my job is just auditioning. That will never end, and learn to love it. It's not I have to audition. It's like get to audition, because you could be in every day I remind myself I could be in that soul-crushing day job where I, was dreading coming into work each day, or I can be, working in a job that I love. So on days when it's really hard or challenging, I just remind myself, this is what I get to do for a living, and it's a blessing. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it.
Would you say that you're still learning?
Always. I'm always, like I said, I work with coaches almost every day when I'm doing auditions. Like, I have a couple that I have like on retainer, basically, so that I'm always learning new things. And then I take classes with folks that I look up to, directors, actors, things like that. And I'm hoping to eventually when my schedule permits, get involved in something else improv oriented or musical improv oriented again. So yeah, that's never going to stop. Even the top tier voice talent that are doing this every single day, they still have to audition, and they still have to learn new tricks, because you just never know. You never know what they're going to ask for. You never know what they're going to need in the casting call. So got to be ready.
So we've almost reached the end of the interview, but before we go, are there any final messages or statements you'd like to say to your fans?
It's going to be a little hippie-ish, but I think the meaning of life is love. So vibrate on the frequency of love, share it with others, because that's really, I think, what we need more of, especially now, more than anything, is just love and laughter, helping other people feel good. I mean, that's why I got into this business, is to make, especially cartoons, is make people laugh, make people happy. And just that I'm so grateful to be a part of the Genshin community and the fandom. I love all my fans, and I love what I do, and I'm very, very happy that I can say that, you know. And I know that I'm fortunate to be in that position, and I will keep working to stay in that position. Yeah.
You certainly made me laugh my butt off today, so thank you for that.
Achievement unlocked. Bonus points. Almond tofu reward.
And we're not done yet because today is April 17th, which means it's your birthday! Yay!
The mortal concept of commemorating the day of your birth really is redundant. Wait. Have this. It's a butterfly I made from leaves. Okay, take it. It's an Adepti amulet. It staves off evil.
All that being said, thank you so much for joining us. It has been a fun interview.
Thank you for having me.
But don't go anywhere just yet because yes, it is giveaway time and we are giving away this awesome signed print. It is not signed yet, but it will be signed by the lovely Laila Berzins, the voice of Xiao in, of course, Genshin Impact. So if you guys want to win this, make sure you guys subscribe to my channel and comment below as to why you like Xiao. Anything will do. Why do you like Xiao? Comment below and subscribe to our channel. And with that being said, thank you so much for joining us, and I will see you guys next time.